Hi everyone, join me today as I sketch this takoyaki using line and wash watercolor. Supplies for today: I've got a pencil and eraser, size 6 Skoda travel brush, a size 0.5 Pigma Micron a permanent liner pen, palette of travel paints, a spray bottle, water and a tissue. I'm going to start with the pencil sketch already done, and I'm going to begin with my Pigma Micron fine liner pen in size 0.5. A free downloadable and traceable reference sketch for what I'm sketching today is available in the description box below, so feel free to download it and trace it if you're not wanting to sketch it yourself. Alternatively, if you want to sketch along in pencil with what I'm doing in pen, you can do that and then do your pen layer over the top. Make sure that any pen that you use contains waterproof or archival ink so that the ink doesn't run when you do the paint layer. Takoyaki is a ball-shaped snack that you get in Japan. It's served in a dish with a skewer to poke and pick the balls up with. It is made from a flour batter and is filled with diced octopus, pickled ginger and green onion. It is cooked in a special pan that has got molded cutouts in it. The balls come out of the pan with the center as hot as lava and are then brushed with takoyaki sauce, which is a little bit like Worcestershire sauce, and mayonnaise. There's also a sprinkling of dried green nori, which is like seaweed flakes. Tako means octopus in Japanese, and yaki comes from the word yaku, which means to grill. So takoyaki means grilled octopus. We bought this takoyaki at a market outside of Himeji Castle in Japan. We went to Himeji on a day trip from Osaka, and we went to this market for lunch. I must admit I was not a fan of the takoyaki, but my husband sure was, and he ate the lot. I'm going to use my Skoda size 6 travel brush today. This is the little travel paint palette that I took with me on my trip to Japan earlier this year. It's extremely conveniently sized. It's very small and you're able to fit in your 15 favorite colors. The lid and the base are magnetized that they can clip together, and then it's got a built-in mixing palette on the one side. There is also a place for you to clip the palette onto your sketchbook if you want to. I'm going to start by laying down a very watery mix of yellow ochre over all of the takoyaki balls. I'm going to keep this mix really watery because my intention is to come in and drop in some darker tones once all of the color is down. If it dries too quickly, I won't be able to do that, and so that is why I'm keeping it so watery. I'm then going to make a thicker consistency mix of the yellow ochre and dot that in over the balls to get a bit of texture to the surface. For the areas where the surface is a little bit more golden, I'm going to add quinacridone burnt orange in a medium consistency. I will dot it around to give some variation to the color. I'm going to thicken the consistency of the quinacridone orange and darken the color by adding some burnt umber to the mix. I'm going to dot this in mainly at the top of the takoyaki balls to represent the takoyaki sauce, and I will add the sauce layer at the bottom of the plate. I'm going to continue dotting in this thicker consistency color along the surface and the side of the balls to give a bit of shadow until I'm happy with the color mix across the sketch. I'm going to let this layer dry completely before I put in the green layer because I don't want the colors to bleed into each other. For the green sprinkle layer, I'm going to start by putting down a weak consistency mix of sap green. I'll start with a weak consistency mix and then I will add to it. Once that is down, I will make a thicker consistency mix of undersea green. I will drop that in to create a difference in texture as well as to create some contrast. Then I will mix a little bit of Hansa yellow medium with the yellow ochre that's already on the palette for the sticks. I'm going to let that all dry before I start working on the shadow layer. For the shadow on the plate, I'm going to use Sodalite Genuine. This is a blue color rather than a grey, and I prefer that for the edges on this white plate. Then for the cast shadow of the balls on the plate, I am going to use neutral tint. This is a stronger shadow and therefore I feel needs a stronger color. I know that this plate is not on a table in the photograph, but I want to ground it in my sketch, so I'm going to give it a cast shadow as though on a table. I will just use whatever shadow colors are on my palette, start with it stronger, closest to the plate, and then fade it outwards using a damp brush. Then I'm going to add a little bit of text to the page to give some information about the sketch. This sketch is at the end of a daily sketchbook that I kept whilst I was traveling in Japan earlier this year. There are just some sketches that I didn't have time to get to whilst we were on holiday, and I'm adding them now at the end of the book. I'm trying to keep it as authentic as possible by using the same equipment that I did on holiday. I will link the flip through of the whole sketchbook video at the end of this one if you'd like to have a look at the whole sketchbook. And there's the final sketch. If you would like to have a look at the flip through of the Japan sketchbook, you can click on the video link that appears on the screen now. Until next time, bye for now.